Call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here today. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here today. We have some special guests today from Yoncalla High School. Thank you all for coming to the courthouse. This meeting is a relatively short agenda, but afterwards we'll stay and visit with you for a little while and maybe show you around the courthouse a little bit. So first agenda item is a consent agenda. We only have one item, and I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
A motion is second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 2 is citizens' participation and comments. Is there anybody online? I would note that agenda item number 5 is a public hearing, so if you're here to speak on agenda 5, the appropriate time would be during the public hearing for that agenda. Anybody here in the room like to come forward and speak about any of the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move to the agenda items. Agenda item number 3 is a facilities item, and I'll welcome up our facilities director, Dave Palmer. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. The contract before you, 3002520, is between Douglas County and Systems West Engineers to provide mechanical and electrical engineering services for the emergency generator system. And if you recall, this is something that I've been working with when I first got here too, for about 4.5 years with Wayne Stinson and now Emily to get this going. And this is the first step to get some plans drawn up so that we can figure out exactly what we're doing, get into the details of how to keep our resiliency with the sheriff's office and the jail going if we have a power outage.
Move to approve contract.
And I'll second that.
Motion second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next agenda item is agenda item number 4, and this is a justice courts item. I'm gonna have County Counsel Tiffany handle this.
Tiffany Podlesnik, County Counsel. This is the 5th modification to contract number 29498 between Douglas County and Nicholas Quinn. It increases the total amount of reimbursement for this contract to $100,000 or less. Nicholas Quinn is one of the public defenders for the South Douglas Justice Court.
To approve the contract modification.
I'll second.
Motion second. Questions or comments? And this is just adding on to the previous contract so that we can have more time. The rates same?
I think on this contract, the rates are the same.
Perfect. That's how I read it too. So any more questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 5 is a planning department item, and I'll invite up our planning director, Joshua Shackley. This is a public hearing. I'll have him give a staff report and then we'll go to the public hearing.
Thank you. Good morning, Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory for owner-initiated annexation of property into the 10-mile rural fire district for property located at 396 Course Gold Road in Winston. Chief petitioners are John and Susan Wood. The subject property consists of a dwelling on 10.96 acres and is zoned farm forest. Staff has reviewed and found the annexation to be in compliance with county comprehensive plan and statewide planning goals, and there are no known objectors at this time.
Any questions of staff before we go into public hearing? So now I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody online that would like to speak? Nobody? Okay. Anybody here in the room that would like to come forward on agenda item number 5? We are in a public hearing. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
Move to approve the annexation.
I'll second that.
A motion is second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 6 is a Public Works item. I'll invite up our Public Works Director, Scott Adams. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Adams, Public Works. Item number 6 is a final order granting vacation of a portion of platted roadway off Speedway Road and Green. Petitioners are Ross and Gruel.
Move to approve the final order granting vacation.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments?
This is a kind of a unique situation where there's a piece of plotted road that actually people have been using as sort of a back alley to go around the back of some of these businesses that was never intended to be a road. And we're actually giving it to the two businesses or selling it to the two businesses next to us, and it's gonna close that off. And we came up with a good solution, and I appreciate that.
All right, we have a motion is second. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress? Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 7 is a Public Works item. Mr. Adams.
Again, Scott Adams, Public Works. Item number 7 is a funds transfer agreement amendment 001 with Western Federal Lands Highway Division, FHWA Federal Highway Administration, for the now tabled North Bank Road reconstruction project. This amendment actually closes out the project, and the project was once tabled due to lack of funding. It almost tripled in cost since the time we applied for the app in 2017-18. And so due to lack of funding, we are closing this project out.
I'll move to approve the agreement.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement amendment. Any more questions or comments?
Is that the Sable Curves?
Yes.
Any further? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. And agenda item number 8, Public Works. Scott.
Again, Scott Adams, Public Works. Item number 8 is a combination of 6 intergovernmental agreements for the purchase and use of aerial imagery for the GIS in cooperation with Douglas County for the purchase and use of our GIS program. This is the split in payment of the Nearmap subscription and shared costs with the 6 different agencies: the Green Area Water Sanitary Authority, Roseburg Urban Sanitary Authority, City of Myrtle Creek, City of Reedsport, City of Roseburg, and City of Sutherland. As well as we have our internal interdepartment shares with the Assessor's Office and Engineering Department.
To approve the intergovernmental agreements.
I'll second.
A motion, a second. Questions or comments? Got a quick question. You mentioned the intergovernment sharing with the Assessor's Office. Does the Assessor's Office also have separate contracts for GIS access?
I'm not able to answer that, but I can look into that.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 9 is Commissioner comments. Commissioner Boyce? Commissioner Kress?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk about something that happened last night. It was a kind of a culmination of some work the board did here. If you remember a month back, we issued a letter to the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife Commission asking them to have a town hall in Roseburg to tell us the fate of the Rock Creek fish hatchery. So you remember, that was one of the victims of the Labor Day 2020 fires, and by all accounts, it looked like it wasn't gonna get rebuilt or be used. In fact, the commission's budget by this year showed that no line item for Rock Creek, so it was looking like it was gonna be removed. So that's when we asked for the meeting. They had that town hall last night out at the fairgrounds, and it had kind of an interesting twist. They actually came up with a proposal in conjunction with the Cow Creek Tribe of Indians to do a joint operation where on the Rock Creek facility on the North Umpqua, they were going to continue to or reestablish rearing and releasing the fish that go in that basin, which would be North Umpqua fish like the spring Chinook, and they also talked about rearing rainbow trout. So those fish were, historically would be released there, would go up and back and forth on the north. And then on the South Umpqua fish, which used to be reared at Rock Creek, which would be the coho and winter steelhead, they have come up with an agreement with the tribe to move them down and rear them and raise them on Canyon Creek there in Canyonville. So those fish, which were traditionally South Umpqua fish, would be reared and raised on the South Umpqua, thereby eliminating that stray issue that has caused so many of the purist fishermen a problem, where because they were originally raised at Rock Creek and they would be South Umpqua fish that would stray into that and cause problems. So it was a rather great plan, really, and compared to what I thought we were gonna get, it was very encouraging, and we had a full house, 250 probably people there to talk about it, and there's lots of people that had questions, but overall, I think the sentiment was the same as mine, as it went from having nothing to at least having a chance to keep the thing open and maybe resurrect some more programs. So wanted to let everybody know about that.
Tom, thank you for continuing to push that issue and sort of being the tip of the spear for the Board of Commissioners on that. Although I think, Commissioner Boyce and I are still very interested in that also. One of the challenges, of course, is this facility burnt to the ground in 2020. So a little better than 4.5 years ago. It does sound like the state has been working on this for some time. So it was nice to finally hear that there had been some work being done. I am challenged by the state not being a little more forthright with us about what's happening and see if there's ways we can help. I know you have some ideas, but I think we're kind of past that now and looking to move forward in a better spot. So thank you for continuing to push that. Anything else? I have just a couple things. So today is the fourth annual Music in the Courthouse. So starting here about 10:15, we're gonna have multiple schools bring music into the courthouse. We got the Glide High School Concert Band, the North Douglas High School Band, Fremont Middle School Choir, Fremont Middle School Chamber Ensemble, Riddle Middle School Band, Riddle High School Band, Lincoln Middle School from Oakland, Glide High School Concert Choir, and Sutherland High School Choir. So that goes on today from about 10:15 to 1 p.m. And it's always a pleasure to have that many of our schools and students in the courthouse. A little bit follow-up from last week. We did a sort of a timely approval of a appeal for the state fire hazard maps that have been somewhat controversial around, at least around Southern Oregon and Eastern Oregon. I know the legislature is currently working on a fix that would remove the controversial part of 762, which is the fire maps. That appeal we filed, again, like I said last week, is really a placeholder. So we had over 4,000 properties here in Douglas County deemed at high risk with very little analysis of the specific properties. They used some modeling data they had that is really inconsistent with what's going on the ground. Just here at the county level, we had several properties that's owned by the county that were deemed high risk. One of them was a rock pit. And I've been around rock pits, they don't burn, they're not high risk. So again, they did sort of blanket data. There was no thought or data gathered around the specific properties. So if you've done a ton of work around your property, made it fire resilient, if you built your home with fire resilient materials, you still got in the group of high fire hazard, even if you've done all the right things. So and then one of the big challenges of the way they rolled out the plan was that you had to appeal by a certain date, which I think was this Monday. And if that didn't happen, you forever could not appeal. So people are gonna find out moving forward that this restriction may affect them in a way they were unaware of and have no chance to appeal even if they've done the work on their property. And for those reasons, we again, not specific to each property, but more generally appealed that the program's bad and we want to try to create a placeholder, possibly create a placeholder for those property owners that did not know about this or have time to get their appeal in. So again, I hope the legislature fixes it and our work that we've done becomes moot, but I'm appreciative of Commissioner Kress and Commissioner Boyce, both who were engaged in this issue, and Commissioner Kress sort of took charge of it and helped find a way to get that appeal done for all those landowners that could possibly be affected. Thank you for that work. Anything else from the board? I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and again, those students that are here, if you'd wanna stay here, we'll visit a little bit after the meeting. Thank you all for being here. Meeting adjourned.